Typically, I have a very traditional Easter. Especially being Polish, I have a very traditional Polish Easter. But this year, I was traveling in San Francisco, and I had one of the most unique Easter experiences here.
Jesus, so we can get one winner from this group. Contestant number 1, Trans Jesus.
There was 2 events that were going on in San Francisco, and I went to both of them. One of them was called Hunky Jesus, the other one was called Bring Your Own Wheels. And they were the most interesting and different perspective and interpretation of Easter and way to celebrate Easter.
Which Jesus are you?
Let's start off with Hunky Jesus.
So give it up for Jesus.
The first one I went to, the one that started earlier, even though they did overlap a little bit, was the Hunky Jesus one. And the Hunky Jesus one was a very interesting and it was a very different perspective on Jesus, which it made me a little bit question, is this anti-religious? Is this anti-Christian?
Hunky Jesus! What about Junior Painter Jesus? And what about you?
Because they were taking something very religious and they were putting their own spin on it. And a part of me did wonder, is this a little bit too disrespectful to religion?
All right, I kind of think that Bob Ross Jesus took the crowd today.
I think Bob Ross, but I think maybe we should keep Honky as well.
Oh, you think Honky and Bob Ross should do Jesus off?
Keep Honky. So Honky and Bob Ross presented that way, and the other contestants, thank you so much.
And I'm a very open person, but I want to be open to both sides. I want to be respectful of the LGBT community and also very religious people. But it did make me a little bit question it, but it was a very different perspective, and I tried to keep an open mind about it. But it happened in this park, and right now, I mean, even in general, even today, it's a Tuesday and this park is pretty busy. It's a Tuesday afternoon. Most people should be working, but it's pretty busy. Actually, let me take you on a short walk of Mission Park so you can see how busy it is on a Tuesday, as well as getting a short tour of it, so you can get an idea of what it typically looks like. Once again, this is Mission Park, a pretty famous park in San Francisco. As you can see, on a Tuesday, there's plenty of people here going on walks.
Oh, you found my camera, thank you.
People just relaxing on the grass and enjoying the nice weather. Very busy and chill park in general. Right now I'm walking on the same trail I was walking on when the Hunky Jesus event took place. Now, let's look at the contrast between what it looks like now versus what it looked like when Hunky Jesus was going on.
Oh, that's the Jesus guy. We saw him earlier. What a hero. That's a lot of cheese-in.
All right, now cheese-in, right. Wait, we have to talk about this crown of cheese-in that you're wearing.
As you can see, on one side, it's busy, but on the other side, it's absolute chaos. There were so many people here. Everybody was dressed in crazy outfits. Everybody was excited to see what was going on. It was a huge spectacle, a huge event. A lot more crowded than it is at this moment. But this park was completely packed during the Hunky Jesus event. It was hard to move through the crowd. You were pushing through people. It was even a lot more crowded than it is right now. Over there, far over there, was the huge stage, and it was full of people. People were trying to see who was going to be crowned the Hunky Jesus this year, which is a very interesting perspective on Jesus Christ.
I'm brave, Dr. Jesus. Licensed to rave! I have risen like your insurance premiums. I turn water into Golightly bowel prep. All of you are my patients, unless you go to Kaiser. You gotta go see them.
It was a very interesting event. I did enjoy a lot about it. People were dressed very provocatively, which I'm all for. There was women dressed pretty provocatively, men dressed pretty provocatively, and I thought it was a very cool and it was a very interesting event. You know, there was a part of me that wondered, is this anti-religious? But besides that aspect, I actually really enjoyed the event and I thought it was really cool. There was drag queens everywhere. There was a drag contest, I believe, before I got there. I didn't see who won the Hunky Jesus because it was time to go to the Bring Your Own Wheels thing, which wasn't too far from here, and I wanted to see that as well. But I wanted to head over to the next event. It wasn't too far. I ended up walking to it. It was about a 30-minute walk. I walk fast. I would have stayed longer at the Hunky Jesus event, but it did overlap a bit with the Bring Your Own Wheels event. The Hunky Jesus event ended at 4 p.m. and Bring Your Own Wheels was from 3 to 5 p.m. Leaving early, I unfortunately was not able to see who was crowned Hunky Jesus, even though I did hear it was Renewable Energy Jesus this year. But I missed the very end of Hunky Jesus because I had to get to the Bring Your Own Wheels event, which I was very excited throughout the whole day. That was the thing that I was waiting for. And unfortunately, I did have to get there. Fortunately, it wasn't too far away. They were pretty close to each other conveniently. I was debating taking the bus, but ended up walking. It was a really nice, warm day, even though it was still a 30-minute walk, so it did feel exhausting at one point. But it wasn't too bad. Besides typical San Francisco hills and this pedestrian bridge they had to take over a highway that was a bit interesting and nerve-wracking at the same time, also feels very American. Pedestrian bridge over highway. America with its highway obsessions. So I'm in Portillo Hills. This is the park that I first walked into when I showed up to the Bring Your Own Wheels event. Right now, it's completely empty. Nothing even like Mission Park. People just playing here with their dogs. But on the day of the Bring Your Own Wheels event, it was completely packed. This whole area here was completely packed. I'm in Portillo Hills where they had the second event on Easter, Bring Your Own Wheels. And I'm at this super curvy road. So San Francisco is known for a curvy road. They're known for Lombard Street. Let's briefly go to a different part of San Francisco. And let me actually show you what Lombard Street looks like. This is Lombard Street, a very famous curvy road in San Francisco, especially known for being curvy and so picturesque and unique. Cars will specifically go down this street just so that they can experience going down Lombard Street. People take pictures. It was completely packed when I came to Lombard Street. So this is the really famous curvy road in San Francisco. And look, those yellow vehicles going down that hill right now, they look like they could be in the Bring Your Own Wheels event. But they weren't. And maybe they're a little bit too big for it. But this street where I'm at right now, they don't like that. They say that it's not Lombard Street, that they're actually the curviest road in the United States. So both of them are in San Francisco. I'm sure there's plenty of other curvy, super steep roads. Now this is what Vermont Street looks like in Portillo Hills. A lot more empty than Lombard Street. But is it more curvy? What do you guys think? I showed you a clip of both Lombard Street and Vermont Street in Portillo Hills. Which one of these streets do you think is more curvy? And over here is where they had the Bring Your Own Wheels event, where people were riding down this hill in tricycles. We're about to get another rush of people. This is what it looked like all day. Sometimes it would be a few, other times it was a bunch, like right now. She's going backwards. How adventurous. So people were racing down in tricycles and toy cars down this super curvy road, which I'm trying to be careful to make sure no cars come down. Here's coming a car. But you can see how curvy it is, and people were just in costumes, and they were just going down this super curvy road, having fun in costumes. Some people were dressed in Easter costumes, people were dressed in costumes in general, and they were just going down this super curvy road. Which, I don't know how they did it, because to be honest, I'm all for having fun, I'm all for adventures, but I feel like I'd be a little bit scared to go down a tricycle. I'm a little bit scared walking down the street. Thank goodness it's a very quiet street. It's not like Lombard Street, there's no cars coming down here. But it was really cool to witness that type of stuff happening here, and I really enjoyed this event. Here is more people going down. Oh my god, look at that group over there going down in a raft. I'm sure it has wheels underneath. And you got a skateboarder going down as well. absolute chaos and pure entertainment. That raft looks like a bumper cart when it's going down with all these other people. I would be a little bit nervous if I was in a tricycle and I saw that on the side of me. Looks like it might have caused a pileup. A lot of really cool costumes and rides in general. Who do you think had the coolest costume and ride, or both? Toy cars, all different types of stuff. I don't know how they did it. I'd be terrified to ride down the hill in one of those. And I'm pretty adventurous, but I'm even a little bit scared walking down here right now. But I'm walking down this windy road to give you an idea what it looks like, because it's pretty steep and it's very windy. And people in their costumes were going down this road and they were having a fun time, and it was a marvelous thing to watch. Before, this place was packed. Usually, as you can see, it's pretty empty. There's not much going on. But on Easter, there was so much going on. There were so many people that were riding down here during that time. I did watch this race from different points, so let me take you on a tour so you can get an idea of where it all started. Here's the top of the hill where everyone first went down. People would line up here and wait for the signal to be able to go. And then they would start going down this curvy road. They then made their way through this very curvy hill with crowds on the side, all taking in the action, enjoying this really cool event. Tons of people like me were just on the sides, taking in the entertaining spectacle and race. You had to squeeze and find a decent spot to stand, as there was a lot of people watching. The longer I was there, the better the view I got, as people were sometimes moving around, but it did take a while. As you can see here, the road is on a very steep hill. Walking on the side of the race on this hill, I was 1 or 2 times worried about slipping. This is where the end of the race was located, the finish line. They were completely finished and never wanted to race again. No, most of the people going down were addicted to the fun and adrenaline and wanted to keep going down multiple times all the way until the event ended. People who were taking part in this Bring Your Own Wheels race went down the hill multiple times. They would be going up these stairs, racing up these stairs with their tricycles, just so that they could go down the hill another time. It was a very different and interesting way to spend Easter. And if you're traveling during the Easter time and you want to have a very unique and different than typical Easter experience, I would recommend coming here to San Francisco and seeing it for yourself, experiencing for yourself this Hunky Jesus competition that they have here. As well as Bring Your Own Wheel race, both were entertaining and different than typical Easter celebrations.
Cigarettes and wine? All right, let's see the wine.
There was some things that surprised me, especially at the Hunky Jesus event. And like I said, there was plenty of people who were dressed provocatively. There was men dressed in nuns' costume. It was a very, I guess, different and artistic perspective on religion. And they took some of maybe their drag element or their LGBT element and they took it into Easter. The one thing that kind of maybe threw me off guard was there was a guy who was wearing almost no clothes. He was wearing just like a vest and was completely naked. You could see his penis and everything, and there was kids around, so made me wonder, is this a little bit too far? Like, I'm not somebody who's very close-minded. I'm all for people dressing very provocatively, but I guess in an event with kids, maybe it made me a little bit flinch, but I don't know, maybe I knew this. But it was a very interesting event, and I did enjoy spending my Easter here in San Francisco at the Hunky Jesus and Bring Your Own Wheels.
1 minute! 1 minute! 1 minute! Got 1 minute left. 1 minute left for a go.
Contestant number 2, Palestinian Balloon Jesus.
Contestant number 3, Gen Jesus. What about SF Fitness Jesus?